Hey, what's up, fantasy managers? Thank you for watching the Beer Time Breakdown on this Fantasy Football Show. Today's episode, we're doing the famous fantasy football rankings. Tyler's going to give us a few players who either climb or fallen in the ranks. Spoiler alert, we do talk about some big names, and you can find those big names in our timestamp. We made it easier for you guys. If you made it this far, if you could please hit the subscribe, press the like, text some comments, and with that being said, cheers and enjoy the show.
What's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard Ethan Wolk, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Football Show. Today's episode, we're going to go over the biggest ranking changes, mock draft ranks, after the offseason changes. So, Jason, we had free agency, we had NFL draft, we did all of our rankings right after, when it was like, fresh in our minds or whatever, right after the Super Bowl. We did our tiers, all of that. You and I went over them together. So go back and watch those episodes. You can see like where our mind was and stuff. But hey, man, there's been a lot of, changes, offensive line, bolstering that we've been talking about like that. So before we get into all of that, Jason, do you want to tell the public how they can help this show?
Hey, what's that Usher thing?
What's up? Peace up. A-Town down.
You haven't seen that? You haven't seen that new one? Okay.
Oh, I don't watch Usher. No, believe me. This TV has never had Usher in the search bar.
No? Not even our high school song? Yeah.
I just said peace up, A-Town down, man. Easiest
song to remember. Well, if you guys made it this far and would like to support us a little bit, we appreciate it. You can find us, or what is it? You can subscribe to us. We need subscribers. Please, please, please. We do this for you, for the people. If you want to smash that like button, we like the likes. Even leave a comment. We love the comments, even when they're book size long, 300 pages. We go through them and we'll read them just because it's entertaining. If you guys want some more additional content, go to Instagram at the Fantasy Football Show. If you guys want some good poop material, listen to Spotify. It's great to listen on the way to work, when you're taking a poop, working out. It's fun. Me and Tyler, we both got faces for the radio. It is straight up hilarious to listen to us on Spotify. I don't know what it is. I love it. I don't know what it is.
So, Jason, you said that when you work out, you listen to us.
I'm like,
oh, yeah.
That was such a good joke.
Oh, man. Saquon Boomley. I'm going to push me, and I'm going to set my PR today. All right. Jason, I can smell the smoke. I can feel the heat. It's time for the BBQ Question of the week.
Oh, that's sick.
I forgot what it was.
No, that was good.
Alcohol, it's like, remember there's some episode of something. It's like they have to drink to remember whatever happened. I can't remember.
What movie is that?
That's Hangover, the first one.
Oh, it is Hangover.
Beer Fest.
Yeah, because they got to try to remember. All right, this is the BBQ Question of the week, where we answer the questions that you want to know. And this week's question is, oh my gosh, what's his name? Jameer. Will Jahmyr Gibbs outperform Bijan Robinson at the end of this year?
So the question is, can he?
Will.
I believe that they have similar ceilings, even though their usage projections are going to be like totally different. So you remember DeAndre Swift, dude, like in the first, he was a top 5 running back, like the first quarter of the season last season. So he's going to fill that role, and I see him as a more durable DeAndre Swift. So yeah, dude, like he has potential. Both of them have potential to be top 5 running back. You could say Bijan Robinson has potential to be a top 3 running back, since that's where he's being drafted. But yeah, dude, Jahmyr Gibbs I think is a much better value. You could pick up Jahmyr Gibbs later, but we're talking about opportunity here, dude. Jahmyr Gibbs is not going to have nearly the amount of touches. He's going to have like less than half of the touches that Bijan Robinson. But the thing is that the Atlanta Falcons are going to score probably half the touchdowns that the Lions are going to score. So scoring opportunity is going to be way towards Jahmyr Gibbs, but just usage opportunity in general is going to be way more towards Jahmyr Gibbs, towards Bijan Robinson. So I do believe, like, I'm a believer in targets and opportunity. I think that Bijan Robinson does deserve to be drafted much higher than Jahmyr Gibbs. But dude, if they both had almost a perfect season, I could see them being pretty close, especially in points per game. Like, yeah, dude, Jahmyr Gibbs might be second or third or whatever, but points per game, when it comes down like half a point or 1 point, they could be pretty close for where you draft them.
That is well said. I do agree with you, right? I think Bijan Robinson is definitely going to get his hands on the ball a lot more times than Jahmyr Gibbs, but I can see Jahmyr Gibbs getting multiple 50-plus yard touchdowns next season. Like, he may only get the ball like around 7 to 10 times, but he has the potential and the speed to break off those 50, 60, 70-yard runs. And if he's breaking those, if he's scoring those long touchdowns, I think there's a good chance that he could be pretty close to Bijan Robinson in the rankings at the end of the year.
And Jason, Jamal Adams, oh God, dude, what's his name? Jamal Williams?
Yeah.
Jamal Williams, Pokemon Master, he left 17 touchdowns, or he led the league with like touchdowns last season. So, like, talk about touchdowns to coming down the pipe for Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, he's got so much of an opportunity. That's why I talk about their ceilings. Like, yeah, dude, Jahmyr Gibbs has potential to get 17 touchdowns, like rushing touchdowns, and he's the best pass catching running back in this draft. Did I say Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yes.
When I said that? Okay, good. But Bijan Robinson, dude, is going to be the focal point of an offense. As a rookie, it's going to be tough to pass him up.
Yeah, I think you could go good on any one of those players, both of them, because like Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a little bit later in the draft, but he's on such a good offense. He's probably going to perform pretty well at his ADP.
All right, Jason. So let's get straight into this. Mama said, we are talking about the biggest ranking changes. So, new coaches, we're trying not to factor in injuries in this, but I think one of these might. I can't remember which one. It doesn't really matter. But this is more coaching changes, scheme changes, after draft, like just people being there, competition changes. First one I want to talk about, Jason, this is a trade. So, Jason, Aaron Rodgers is back with Nathaniel Hackett. I want to say that. So he went up in my rankings from 11 to 7. He is now in between. I think that he is over Trevor Lawrence. And for you and I, dude, saying that he's over Trevor Lawrence, that is the end of a tier. Trevor Lawrence is the end of a tier that you and I are both targeting. I am putting him right behind Lamar Jackson. I would put him before Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson got all these new weapons, and I love Zay Flowers. So it's just kind of like tough for me to go, I just have to like lean towards that, even though I think that Aaron Rodgers can be a top 3 quarterback this season, only this season, just because when he is motivated, he is so dangerous. How do you feel about that?
I think you're right. He's 39 years old, but I think he still has some gas left in the tank, and I think part of the situation with Aaron Rodgers this year, is like you see he's a very prideful man. He's a very prideful man. And he wants to show the Packers that he can still play. I mean, last year was kind of a down year, 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. The first 9 games for the Packers was just like, it was such a funk. He only had 14 touchdowns on 7 interceptions, 64 completion percentage, kind of low for Aaron Rodgers. And this guy was having to throw like 35 times a game. But once he got traded to the Jets have weapons. They got Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Garrett Wilson. They signed Alan Lazard, wide receiver McCole Hardman, even tight end Tyler Conklin. Conklin. That's his name. Conklin.
Conk it up.
And they got a good defense, and I keep saying this, I keep picturing this. I'm just seeing Brett Favre. Like when Brett Favre left the Packers and went to the Jets, like he had a good season with Lawrence Coles, something like that. Thomas Jones, I believe, was a running back. They had Jericho Cotchery as another wide receiver.
Jericho Cotchery is good that year.
Yeah, he had a solid year. They want to go here and prove that they can still play, and like Aaron Rodgers is going to be like, see, Green Bay management, you should have listened to me. Tyler, I think around that ranking spot, you also had Kyler Murray. So I think Aaron Rodgers is replacing Kyler
Oh,
Murray.
dude, he's so far down. Kyler Murray's off the damn list. He's like
Yeah.
in the depths of Mordor, dude.
The Eagles can't even go and save this guy.
So, anyways, Jason, let me hit you with some stats. And then I'm going to ask you again how you feel.
Hit it.
So, Rodgers played with 5 offensive coordinators his entire NFL life. I was going to say life, but he's been a baby.
His life.
His best 3 seasons came with Hackett. 109 passer rating, 111 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's 8.5 touchdowns per 1 interception. 67% completion percentage. All these ranked number 1 for quarterbacks. The biggest difference with Hackett was the number of short touchdown passes. 44 touchdowns on throws that traveled 0 to 9 yards. That was number 2 behind Tom Brady, and we all know how Tom Brady is with short touchdown passes and Gronk. So, how does that make you feel, Jason? That so Garrett Wilson is a deep threat. Here we go with Nathaniel Hackett just being like a completion percentage machine and a short touchdown machine. Like that makes you feel pretty good about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's also kind of like frustrating when you kind of hear that it comes like about the running backs. But then again, he's probably passing to the running backs when he's getting those little short touchdowns.
Aaron Jones, dude, was like, I mean, how many touchdowns has Aaron Jones had when Nathaniel Hackett was there, dude? That's like when in his heyday.
So I think all signs are pointing to Aaron Rodgers having a big year. I think the only thing that's going to prevent Aaron Rodgers from doing well is going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and dude, he's been working with the young wide receivers. He's been making a point. He's like, "Oh, I'm hip. Hello, fellow kids.
Hello. I like your drip. I like your drip.
I've been worried about a drip in my. Do you guys know of a good plumber?
Do you guys enjoy a good coffee drip? I know a good brew. Let me show you. Come with me.
Old people stuff, man. You know what we're talking about. So,
well, also, Tyler, they showed some highlights of kind of like training camp where you got Aaron Rodgers throwing a touchdown pass, probably like 20, 30 yards to Garrett Wilson.
Dude, there's been so much talk of him and Garrett Wilson, and then he got his injured calf, and he had to sit out for a while. So
he got no injured calf. He just doesn't want to practice.
I'm telling you, dude, Aaron Rodgers, like I'm picking up Justin Herbert over Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But like Aaron Rodgers is surpassed Trevor Lawrence for me. So it's like that's a big deal, dude. And Aaron Rodgers is like going like 2 rounds later than Trevor Lawrence right now. That's going to change. I know it's going to change.
I'm getting Aaron Rodgers as my number 2 in like round 11, around 10.
He's a number 1. That's the thing. So he's a number 1 going as a number 2. Dude, pick up Aaron Rodgers. I mean, seriously. Oh. Watch this, Jason. Watch behind me. Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, I see it.
Okay,
Vikings. Vikings.
Here we go, Jason. Next up, I want to go over Kenneth Walker. He's getting downgraded ever since the draft, Jason. He went from 10 to 13. That's not much, but he's kind of entered a different tier. So that's kind of like,
yep.
He went from like, second year rookie, explosive, take over the league type of like, oh my God, dude, this guy can be a top 5 running back.
Yep.
To, oh man, he's got a governor. You go too fast in your car. You're like, oh man, my speedometer goes up to 120. You go 90 miles an hour and it slows down. Yeah. So they just drafted a governor for this dude. I was going to say Kenneth Charbonnet. No, dude. What's his name? Charbonnet.
Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah, so Charbonnet in the 2nd. And they also drafted McIntosh in the 7th. Both caught a lot, and both are pass-catching running backs, Jason. And you know what the weakness for Kenneth Walker was last year? Pass catching. So he was up and down. He wasn't very good at pass protection. They opted for Homer when it was obvious pass protection downs or passing downs or whatever. So this is a little bit scary for Kenneth Walker. I was really high on him. He ended the year with like amazing, dude. We talked about his injury history, But like, dude, he entered the year with like, I don't know, like 3 straight games of 20 plus carries, 100 plus yards, and a touchdown. So how do you feel about Kenneth Walker after they drafted these dudes?
Well, I've liked Kenneth Walker ever since they drafted him. He was one of my guys from last year, and he performed quite well. In 15 games, 9 touchdowns, 1,000 rushing yards, 4.6 yards per carry. But you're right, Tyler. He only had 27 receptions on the whole year, so he's not really a pass catching running back. He led all rushes, Tyler, in top speed reach with 22.09.
Woo, that's a good stat right there.
So that's almost 120 miles per hour in a car, right? Never mind. So if we keep on going here, people, one of the things I also wanted to look at was that the Seahawks, they had the 20th overall offensive line ranked by Pro Football Network. The reason why I brought that up is because he did all his damage on the ground and still only had the 20th overall offense, but they should see a bump with their left tackle, Charles Cross, and right tackle, Abraham Lucas, because they're going in year 2. And they both did pretty well.
Dude, their tackles were rookies last year.
Yeah. And now they're going in year 2. So you're going to probably see a bump in their ranking, their offensive line ranking. So it's what you just explained, Tyler. Like, this was a very mysterious draft for the Seattle Seahawks. Like, I don't know what Pete Carroll was thinking, because everybody who follows football should have known that they needed to focus on the defensive line, but then they go out instead and get Zach Charbonnet from UCLA in the second round. And you mentioned that he's a pass-catching running back. Last year, he had 37 receptions. And he's going to take any type of reception or receiving role from Zach Charbonnet or from Kenneth Walker. This is kind of looking towards, for me, like, they could still probably both play very well. I'm seeing, Tyler, tell me if you agree. It's okay if you don't. I'm seeing like a Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt combo. Like, this is going to be another one of those, right?
Yeah, like I'm hoping for that in the first half of the year, but there's potential in the second half of the year. This guy is way bigger than Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is like, he's almost like in between a third down back and a every down back. And they drafted a third down back. And that third down back they drafted from Georgia is amazing, man. Like McIntosh, he is such a good third down running back. So like he's going to be, I don't see them even. So it's going to be like Charbonnet and, maybe like 33% and Kenneth Walker 66% for the first 2 downs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. It's tough for me to be. I'm still afraid. So I don't know. I can't remember what your question.
I know. Pete Carroll's on the record saying, "Don't be surprised at the playing time of opportunities that Charbonnet is going to get." So they're thinking that they're going to try to get this guy up to 1,000 yards rushing, 2,000 yards rushing. They're running backs on the same team. That's their goal.
And Jason, I do want to end this with some positives about Kenneth Walker. He averaged 4.6 yards per carry. He had 1,215 total yards in his rookie season, 9 touchdowns. He finished with 10 runs over 20-plus yards. That was second in the NFL. And he finished, second in the NFL offensive rookie of the years behind Garrett Wilson. So he still, and when you watch him, dude, he sets up safeties like I've never seen. I've seen like running backs set up linebackers, dude. Like this guy is like setting up downfield like 30 yards. It's insane. So like I love Kenneth Walker, but it's just who they drafted just scares me. And so Kenneth Walker was a second round draft pick, and then they went out and spent another second round draft pick on Charbonnet. It's just kind of scary.
Yeah, they trying to get offensive firepower. They did the same thing, getting that wide receiver.
Yeah. And they need to. And they don't have a quarter. I mean, Geno Smith did well last season, but like he needs help. So he needs the special wide receivers. He needs the special running backs. So this is why they did that. Again, because their defense overperformed last season. So they're like, hey, screw it, man. We'll just go all offense. Let our defense develop. We have a defensive head coach and go from there.
Yep.
All right, Jason. Next up, Davante Adams.
There we go.
So Davante Adams has Jimmy Garoppolo thrown to him. Derek Carr hyper-targeted Davante Adams last season, dude. Like, super hyper-targeted. we've got Davante Adams going from rank 6 to 11. So not only is that like pretty far down, I mean, when you're talking about the top 5 wide receivers and Davante Adams is just right outside that, now he's outside the top 10 wide receivers. Like, man, that's a big deal. He's in between, I think he's right behind Garrett Wilson. I'd rather have Garrett Wilson than Davante Adams right now, which is insane because I think that Davante Adams is a better wide receiver. And then Amari Cooper, who I'm still bullish on Amari Cooper, Jason. I mean, if everything works out, like if we could see like the Texan days of Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper is going to be a top 5 wide receiver, no problem. So that's why I'm super like just bullish on him. And I've got Amari Cooper ranked 11, dude. So that's why I'm kind of just like, what the hell? Anyways, is that what I had, Jason? Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm sorry. I read Cooper. I have him ranked between. So ahead of Cooper, I have Metcalf. So he's actually ahead of Metcalf and behind Wilson. I read the next thing down on one of our later players. So Davante Adams from 6 to 11, in between Garrett Wilson, who I still believe in. I'm totally cool with that. And DK Metcalf. And I really like DK Metcalf, but it's like I almost feel like DK Metcalf and Davante Adams is in the same tier this year. And that's just because Jimmy Garoppolo. So how do you feel about Davante Adams this season?
Well, you know, I did his risk rating last week. He was 85 overall. And
that was one of your highest risk. I think that was your highest risk rating, wasn't it?
It was. He was my highest risk rating if he was going before the 15th pick in fantasy football draft. So basically, I'm just going to kind of do like a recap of what I said like last week is like part of you're absolutely right, Tyler. He was very hyper targeted by Derek Carr. I don't think this is a Davante Adams problem. I think it's a Jimmy Garoppolo problem because of his playing style. Davante Adams had 9 touchdowns over 20 yards in 2022, and with 34 targets and 14 receptions over 20 yards also. Jimmy Garoppolo has only had 35 pass attempts down the field in 4 years.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
It is. So it's like, yeah, I don't really see a lot of down the field passing. I don't know. And another thing is like Davante Adams, since 2018, 40% of Davante Adams' yards come from yards after catch, right? So that's less than half. So he's not normally catching the ball on a slant and running 60 yards like Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, like all that stuff from like Jimmy Garoppolo, right? He's the type of guy that gets most of his yards in the air, you know, gets tackle, catch, touchdown, run out of bounds, whatever it is. He's not a guy who gets the ball as much in like a 2-yard pass and takes it deep. He's more of a route running guy. He does his route. He's a route running type of player than a yards after catch type of player. Not really Jimmy Garoppolo style. So I can understand the rankings dropping all night.
And then there we go, dude. Like at the end of last season, we're like, oh man, Davante Adams. Oh my God, dude. Like, yeah, he lived up past his potential. He's like the number 2 wide receiver overall. Oh my God. But still, what was I going to say about him? Here I go. I'm just going to go over some stuff, Jason.
Okay.
So, anyways, Davante Adams with Hackett and Rodgers were number 2 in short passing yards and touchdowns in their 3 years together. We went over that. Only being behind Josh McDaniels with Brady. So it's like, hey, dude, like when Adams was thriving, you know, like with Hackett and Aaron Rodgers, they were doing all these short passes and touchdowns. And now he's in with Josh McDaniels and Jimmy Garoppolo, who already knows the system. I guarantee there's going to be a lot of short touchdowns and passing yards. So, like, that encourages me. I like that. But it all hinges, like, all this is literally, we said we're not going to talk about injuries. But, dude, like, yeah, if Jimmy Garoppolo is 100% healthy throughout the year, I almost wouldn't see a drop-off. But, like, Jimmy Garoppolo, dude, had foot surgery following his signing in March. There's no timetable for return at the end of May. He has missed 31 games, Jason, in his career, and has suffered 3 season-ending injuries in his career. That's insane, dude. Like, this fool has suffered 3 season-ending injuries. He's only played like 3 seasons as a starter, and now he's coming in after foot surgery I mean, come on, dude. So like, I just see like all the risk with Davante Adams. Like, yeah, dude, is it with Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm
Yeah,
gonna pee my pants, Jason. I'll be right back.
yeah, absolutely. He does anyone besides the Raiders even believe in Jimmy G anymore? You know, this is stuff that we talked about like last week. I mean, there's still a chance that they could work on short touchdown passing, you know, within the 5 yard line. But after seeing what Josh Jacobs did last year, I don't know. You know, maybe there's a good chance that they give the ball more. I don't know. A lot of question marks up there. I just don't see Davante Adams getting 14 touchdowns again this year with 1,500 receiving yards. 100 catches? I don't know. I just don't see it. There's also rumors that like if Jimmy G can't even play this year, you know, they are planning on looking into Carson Wentz. It's not much better. So I also see them relying heavily on the run again this year.
Yeah, dude. So I mean,
You got Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, and I do want to say that they picked up Jacoby Myers. So it's like, hey, dude, in a Josh McDaniels system, Jacoby Myers was hyper targeted underneath short passes. What we were talking about right now.
Absolutely.
So like, this is baked into it too. So when I was thinking about ranking him, I was like, dude, Jacoby Myers went there, and oh yeah, it's like the one positive I have is short yardage situation, and it's like, dude, this guy filled this role in New England in a Josh McDaniels offense. So yeah, it's just so tough, man. Like I almost guarantee I'm not coming away with Davante Adams on my team this season. Like, there's almost no way, Jason.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting him in the first round. I'm not getting him early second round. So I feel like if anyone gets him around the 1-2 turn, they're going to pay the price. And the price,
gotta pay the troll toll.
you got to pay the troll toll to get. Yeah, I don't want to keep singing.
Oh, because YouTube, you're already not pushing out our stuff anyways.
Yeah.
You say something like that, you might transcript our stuff. Be like,
Yep.
hey, dude.
See ya.
If you're watching this, please watch our shorts because, man, YouTube's been screwing us.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. So next up.
All right, here we go.
Najee Harris, Jason. He went from ranking 13 to number 8, and he would be number 7 on our old rankings, but I've got to put Bijan Robinson ahead of him. So he is like, I did not have you and I both had Najee Harris as like a running back 2 at the end of last season. Like, based on usage only, like, man, he was so frustrating to own last season. And this is pretty much so Kenny Pickett into the season great, throwing touchdowns, not interceptions. They've been winning games. They were running the ball, but the problem is that their offensive line was so bad, Jason. Like, there was just no chance for Najee Harris. They had Jalen Warren outperforming Jalen. What's his name? God dang it, dude, Najee. But Najee, dude, I am all about this season. And you know this, if you're watching the show, I'm all about Najee. And the biggest thing is they got Broderick Jones, right? So they got the elite offensive tackle. Ding, 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 ding. And then they got Darnell Washington, Jason, who I had to do on my tight ends draft list. That guy is like the best blocking and catching tight end since Mercedes Lewis. So it's like they literally got 2 starting left tackles in the NFL. Like, they got a starting left tackle and a starting extra left tackle. So as far as offensive line goes, we have got to reflect that in our rankings with Najee Harris. And his usage already puts him up to like a top 5 usage. And now he has an offensive line that's been augmented. So I put him up. He is in between. He's after Chubb because I don't care what people say about Chubb. Dude, you got to draft Chubb in the second round, man. Come on. But I'm putting him before Pollard. So we're having Najee Harris, or I am, ahead of Pollard because I do not trust Mike McCarthy's offense. But I have him behind, who is it? Who did I just say? Chubb. So, dude, if you're looking for a running back one and you want to draft a tight end or a wide receiver early, you might be able to get Najee Harris in the third round. I guarantee he's going in the second round. If I can get Justin Jefferson and then Najee Harris, oh my God, Jason, I'd be so happy. How do you feel about that?
So what was that needs and wants episodes that we did with the Steelers, and we both agreed is that their offensive line sucked. It was alrighty then. Yeah. Yeah, so we were saying it over and over. Their offensive line sucked. And then Tyler, I'm basically kind of just recapping what you just said. Like they went out and got Broderick Jones like the 5th or the 14th pick in the draft. Like, so, and that tight end. So they boosted up their offensive line. Kenny Pickett, second-year quarterback, hoping to see a jump. George Pickens, second-year wide receiver, hoping to see a jump. Mike Tomlin is a ground and pound type of guy. He's an old school coach. You know what I'm saying? You think he was like from the 80s, how he used to coach them Steelers. I couldn't think of the name real quick. You think Terry Bradshaw would be out there? And with that being, said, it's like he did have a down year last year. He only had 100-yard game, and it was week 17 against the Ravens. Pro Football Network, they did rank the O-line in the 16th overall, but I think the most important fact is that they were 10th in rushing attempts a game, dang near close to 30, 29.4 touches a game. Najee Harris touched the ball 313 times in 2000 or last season, and in 2021 he touched the ball 381 times. So, but both those seasons, he still averaged around 3.8, 3.9 yards after yards attempt in both seasons. But he had 33 less receptions last year, and that was a big killer, especially when it comes to like fantasy football. Those are 33 plus points off the field, off your bench, off your league that you didn't get because they weren't throwing him the ball that much. But this guy started off the season with Mitch Trubisky, and then a rookie Pickett had to take over. Like, they had to adapt and do what they did the best they could. Tyler, he's still only 25 years old, and they still have the same offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. Canada. From his rookie season that, he did pretty well in. I think Najee Harris, from where he's at this season, he has the potential to be a top 10 running back at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's our biggest value, like right now. Like,
yeah,
him, there's got to be some other ones, but like where he's going in drafts, man, is like almost criminal. So if you're in a position to draft him, you are going to draft him, and it's just, dude, like there's not many running backs to get his usage number one, and then teams that augmented their offensive line, obviously, are just, it's like there's like 3 maybe or 4. I can't remember. We're gonna go over this, maybe top 5 improvements to the offensive line in one show or something like that. Who knows? All right, Mr. Jason.
You cannot go wrong with getting Najee Harris this year. They're still gonna use him, and they have, like you said, Tyler. Dude,
there was so
upgraded
much
the line.
And there was so much talk about Jaylen Warren. I feel like I'm not muting you out now, Jason.
Good.
Let's talk at the same time. Ready?
So I heard that they're not doing anything about.
Wow.
Oh my gosh!
That was back here, people.
Brick wall.
There's hearts and bricks. This is great. So yeah, your microphone apparently was the problem. That's crazy.
Nice. So hopefully we figured it out. All right, Tyler, who's next?
Lastly, there's 2 players I want to talk about, but they're combined because of the same explanation. We've been talking about him nonstop, but we have not been talking about this one dude. Jason, Keenan Allen carried me to a championship. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Keenan Allen perform for your dad, just like amazing. Get him to like late playoffs. We're talking about Keenan Allen going from 16 to 12, and I have to bump him up because of the Kellen Moore effect. That's it. We're assuming people are healthy, Jason. And then Justin Herbert, all the way from 9. We had him ranked 9 at the end of last season. That's crazy. All the way up to 5. So, just recent memory was in effect. He was injured. I hadn't heard about how injured he was from Austin Eckler on all these sports radio shows.
Yeah.
So Keenan Allen I have right behind Metcalf and before Cooper. So he's right behind. So it's going to be between DK Metcalf and Amari Cooper. If Keenan Allen is Keenan Allen, man, you're going to get 10 plus targets a game and 2 red zone targets, And then Justin Herbert, I think I told you 9 to 5. He's going. I have him after Joe Burrow right now. He is the next quarterback after Joe Burrow for me, and I have him ahead of Lamar Jackson. So it goes, Burrow, Herbert, Jackson, A-Rod, and then Trevor Lawrence, and then after that, I do not want a starting quarterback for my number 1 quarterback.
I'm not getting a quarterback.
Well, I don't get that. We're starting Justin Tucker.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. So, anyways, Justin.
Justin.
I'm
Oh,
looking at Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jason. We went over depth of targets last week for argument points for what did we do last week, Jason?
I think it was Dak Prescott. That sounded kind of familiar.
Yeah, so they lost Kellen Moore, and it's yeah, dude. So Joe Lombardi, the old coordinator for the Chargers, he was second to last in average depth per target, right? And running backs thrown to the flat, I think he was second overall in the years that he was there, behind some god awful team. I can't remember who it was. Maybe the Jets with Zach Wilson. I can't remember. And then Kellen Moore, who they brought in, was top 5 in all these categories as far as depth per target and everything else. So we're going from a non-explosive offense, dink and dunk, just throw it to Austin Eckler, who cares, to a deep threat attacking offense. And so I've got to take that their number 1 wide receiver is still, dude, I do not like Mike Williams. Their new one that they drafted is a rookie. So, number 1, he's a rookie. Number 2, he looks just like Mike Williams and has an injury history. No thanks. So Keenan Allen, dude, his hamstrings are god awful, dude. His hamstrings are 90 years old when you combine their age.
I broke my back!
Dude, assuming that Keenan Allen is healthy, he is literally worth your number 1 wide receiver. There's no reason he can't be your number 1 wide receiver. How do you feel about Keenan Allen this year, Jason?
All right, here we go. This is what I got for Justin Herbert. This is what I got for the 2020 Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's only 25 years old. I think, there's a lot of gray cloud around him because he only threw for 25 touchdowns last year. I'm telling you what, if you bet in Vegas that this guy does not reach 30 touchdowns in 2023 and you win, bro, you need to play the lottery because that is crazy stuff. That is crazy stuff. There's no way this guy is going to get under 30 touchdowns again. The guy still threw for 4,700 yards last year, Tyler. And this guy was doing this when he had the injuries from Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, who they 9 total missed games between them. Their beast of a left tackle, Rashawn Slater, was out for the season with torn biceps.
That's a great point, Jason. I was just going to say, dude, I just listened to an interview with him, and he's like, my biceps all the way good, man. I'm just chomping at the bit to get out there. Mm-hmm. And he's just been talking about he is the left tackle for him. And, we did not realize, Jason, that how bad Justin Herbert was injured last year. So not only was Justin Herbert healthy now, but he has protection to keep him healthy.
Yep. And then Austin Eckler is back. They added a weapon. Tyler, I put drafting Mike Williams 2.0. Quentin Johnson from the first round, just because you mentioned Mike Williams earlier. And then the Chargers are getting an upgrade in the offensive scheme by hiring Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore used to be an OC for the Cowboys. We all know how the Cowboys' offense has been recently. I was kind of interested in how you were going to explain the Keenan Allen, because because of the injuries, he is 31 years old. They even had to like restructure his contract a little bit, but he is Justin Herbert's favorite wide receiver.
And it's like, dude, talk about injury risk, Jason. It's like, come on, man. It's all a gamble with that team. I mean, who?
Yeah,
like, I can't. He's the number one wide receiver as far as production and injury risk, even though he's got a ton of injury risk.
Yeah,
so that's why it's like you just kind of gotta roll with it.
Yeah, and we're kind of predicting Justin Herbert's going to blow up this year, and then of course, Kellen Moore, he takes advantage of players' strengths. He really knows how to use players. And I had him here. You had I think in the 12th spot at the time was Garrett Wilson.
Oh yeah, so I put him. I think isn't that where I put him? Let's see. Now I have.
Yeah, I think Garrett was 12th, and then you have Keenan Allen above him now, maybe.
Where do I have Wilson? Oh, I've got Davante. Oh crap! I've got Garrett Wilson as number 5 now, dude. Insane.
I want me some Garrett Wilson. The Wilson War, bro. The Wilson War.
Like as far as like an explosive, I mean, dude, second-year wide receiver he has so much potential to get hyper-targeted. Nathaniel Hackett offense. It's just this offseason's like really persuaded me towards Garrett Wilson, pushing him up. Also, Jason, lastly, with the Chargers, I didn't mention their schedule. So we talked about Justin Herbert. I think has the third easiest fantasy schedule for quarterbacks. So I mean, that almost goes hand in hand with wide receivers. There's predictions coming from somewhere. And Keenan Allen is the type of wide receiver that doesn't get really shut down because he's doing these it's all short yardage stuff for the most part. And now you have Kellen Moore, who's a deep target person. That's the highest risk I see is that Keenan Allen's short target. Now we're going to a longer target, but I don't know. I just need to see it in person. Even Amari Cooper did really well with Kellen Moore, and Amari Cooper to me is like a more of a shorter target. He's not like that deep threat. Go up and pick it up, jump 10 feet and go get it. So we'll see. I just have so much faith in Kellen Moore. I think that's most of my faith is in Kellen Moore, Jason, and you as a Cowboys fan should know that.
The prodigy son has returned.
Well, they should have freaking hired him I would rather have Kellen Moore as my head coach other than freaking McCarthy.
Yeah, I don't know why. Well, you know why? Okay, I read this thing that like McCarthy was putting a lot of the blame of the offense on Kellen Moore.
He was. I remember that at the end of last year, and I was like, dude, you're an idiot, man.
Yeah, that's why he's like, we need to focus more on slowing down the ball and blah, blah, blah. Kellen Moore, he just wanted to score. He just wanted to put points on the board.
Analytics. I was united at Jerry Jones' house, and I told him I watched every single play from the Cowboys. And then what happened a year later, Jason? He's like, oh, I didn't watch any plays from the Cowboys.
Yeah. It's yeah. I wish. Well, he does well in Charger land this year. There's a good chance he's still gonna potentially be a head quarterback here soon.
All right, Mr. Jason. So we just went over Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert. The Chargers are going to be improved. They have an amazing offensive schedule. They have an amazing offensive coordinator, and they're coming off. Justin Herbert's coming off of injury, so it's just like, dude, everything's playing towards them like overperforming rather than over their ADPs. So target Charger offensive players. Oh man, my cat's scratching the door.
Oh,
we've got Najee Harris going up, and that's all offensive line. So we talk about how offensive line, Jason, is like underappreciated in fantasy football. Just follow offensive line like strength, and you will have success. We have Aaron Rodgers going up, and that is because motivation and weapons. So he gets Garrett Wilson, maybe Breece Hall later on. But dude, it's just more motivation. So like, I just see like, the 2 MVP seasons with the Aaron Rodgers after they drafted Jordan Love. This is the type of seasons I see for him next season. Kenneth Walker, we have going down. That's just because who they drafted and because of his weaknesses in pass protection and the other, pass catching strengths of the running backs they drafted. And then who else am I missing, Jason? Najee? Did I go over Najee Harris? Did I go over Davante Adams?
No.
Davante Adams we have going down from 6 to 11. And that is just because Jimmy Garoppolo's health. Like, literally. If, like, Derek Carr was still there, we'd have him as a top 3, maybe 4 wide receiver. But because of the health of Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not great. Even though the offensive scheme is, like, built for him, Jason. Short passes succeeded with, Nathaniel Hackett. Now he gets only behind Josh McDaniels in those years. And now he gets Josh McDaniels. But the problem is that who's going to be throwing on the ball when Jimmy Garoppolo inevitably just hurts himself? He's going to be banging porn stars and hurt something, you know?
True.
Woo!
How'd you hurt your foot, Playboy Mansion?
He's all, man, it takes 2 toes. You know what I'm saying?
2 toes?
Big toe and my big toe, and then one next to it.
10 toes up, 10 toes down.
Anything you want to say, Jason?
No, man, I'm hungry. I'm ready to get some pizza.
What kind of pizza you getting?
The old wife wants to get Pizza Hut stuffed crust.
Really? You sound like my house over here. We're like, we're getting Little Caesars. We're getting stuffed crust. I'm like, oh my God. So we're going to get the worst pizza? And then we're going to get their stuffed crust?
But wait, no, I'm getting Pizza Hut. Is that you think that's bad?
I like their pan pizza, dude. When I was part of the Reading Rainbow or whatever that, I got free reading, dude, accelerated reader program. Oh my God, dude. So many pan pizzas. If I can go back in time and get a personal pan pizza, dude.
Yeah, I remember that program. It was like, didn't you have to like read 3 pages in like 5 minutes of words?
I still have nightmares, Jason. I told the teacher I read it. I read Treasure Island. I read it all. Let's do my accelerated reader test. And then she's going through the test, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? The movie of Treasure Island is totally different than the book. Totally different.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dude, that was it, dude. I didn't get any pizza that year. I got screwed.
I got participation pizza. Like, and you gave it a try. Here you go. Here's a zong. Here's a piece. Here's a zong. With 1 pepperoni. You don't deserve 2 pepperonis. You only get 1 on it.
They buy like that, like Tony's Pizza from the store, and then they're picking toppings off and popping in the microwave for you. All right, man. So, anyways, again,
okay.
If you like this, please like and subscribe. People, like, follow us on Spotify. Everything. Please help this program.
Hit that subscription. Press that like. Text those comments.
Yeah, at the same time, we're having fun, dude. So no big deal. Tune in to us next week. We will be back drinking, talking football. I should have a mock draft special show on Monday, like less than 10 minutes, going over stuff like that, running backs versus wide receivers. So tune into that. And other than that, Jason, I think we're out of here. So,
all right.
Just like Rocco, I'm going to go, like, before I do my hits on some people I hate, catch you on the flip side.
Deuces.